Welcome to The Glitter Effect, a podcast dedicated to shining a light on the movers, shakers, change makers, and all-round living legends of our communities who are making a real difference. Today on the podcast, we're welcoming an absolute legend in the world of grassroots impact. Simon Braun, more affectionately known as Simmo, is the driving force behind the Bloody Good Tour. Simmo is a man on a mission, using storytelling and community spirit to bring support, connection, and a whole lot of heart to regions across Australia. Through the Bloody Good Tour, he's not just putting on a show, he's creating a movement, reminding us all why community kindness and looking out for each other matter more than ever. So get ready for an inspiring, no-nonsense chat with a bloke who is making a bloody good difference, one town, one gig, and one conversation at a time. Simmo, I am absolutely thrilled to welcome you on The Glitter Effect.
Awesome. What an intro. Thanks for having us, Kate.
Oh, thank you. I'm thrilled. Now, before we get going, I think we just need to let our listeners know I'm so excited about this chat, and I'll explain more why. But can you just explain to everybody what is the Bloody Good Tour and what inspired you to kick it off?
Sure thing. So the Bloody Good Tour is a mission to save 100,000 lives and elevate the well-being of Aussies. And to do this, I've thrown my 3 kids in a caravan, and we're visiting every Lifeblood donor centre in the country. Already done 75 of them. And yeah, getting Aussies connected with, that feeling of contribution where doing good feels good.
That's good. And how long have you been on the road for already?
Just over 10 months, currently in Northern Territory, with only 6 weeks left to go.
Amazing. And what inspired you to start it, Simmo?
Well, I've been a blood donor for over 25 years. It's just become a core part of my identity and my routine. But it was a couple of years ago, 2023, when I was just in my backyard having a lunch break while working from home, and the kids were at school and everything was quiet. And I just cracked. Something inside me just let go, and I started crying. I was bawling. That sobby, snotty, messy moment.
Mm.
It all just gave way. It was only a month prior that I had uncoupled from my wife and found myself as primary carer of the 3 kids, and had this moment of what am I going to do? How am I going to keep it all together and support the kids and drive on? And I'd been strong for them and trying to keep it together, but it was mostly for myself. And it was such a tough time. What was even tougher was sharing that situation and with my mates. But as I did, I saw they started connecting back with me, and being vulnerable allowed me to build deeper ties. And through this process, I worked out I didn't really know who my mates were until we started connecting deep. But more importantly, I didn't know who I was. I had been, a husband for 15 years and a father for 6 years, but I had this moment where I had to decide, who am I? Who do I want to be? And how do I want to show up?
Mm.
So I went on this journey with the help of some great authors and a fantastic coach to rebuild my life on who I am, taking all the favorite parts of me, the playful dad, the adventurer, the blood donor, a leader, well-being advocate, and weave this into a matrix, of course, using a spreadsheet because I'm an engineer by trade.
I did not know that.
Yeah, to work out how can I be all the best parts of me more often.
Yeah.
And around this time, I was doing a regular donation, and I had a blood nurse look at my chart and say, "Wow, you've done so many donations. What's your goal here?" I said, "I don't have a goal. I just keep showing up." And and I thought, oh, I have enjoyed visiting a few different donor centers as I've traveled for work. And she's just had this throwaway comment saying, "You should do all of them." And we both had a laugh. But it didn't end there. I went home and it just echoed through my head while I was laying in bed staring at the ceiling. Do all of them. Do all of them.
Wow.
And that's how the Bloody Good Tour was born.
So how long did it take you from that conversation to hitting the road? You strike me as someone who doesn't sit around.
No, well, there were a few things that I needed to line up first. So from there, it took about 2 months to get Lifeblood engaged, and they thought it was a bloody brilliant idea, of
Yeah.
course.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it was another, what, 5 months to sort out the logistics with kids and schooling and caravan and what I was doing with my former home.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, a 6 month turnaround kind of thing.
And taking the kids on the road too, what an experience. I mean, gosh, this is just undertaking this as you on your own is huge in itself, but taking the kids too, what an experience for them. How has it changed, or how has it changed all of your outlooks, do you think?
Yeah, it's been transformative. I
Yeah.
think for each of us as individuals, but also collectively as a family. Um, I remember at the start, I'm quite big on outdoors and adventures, but
Yep.
at the start, the kids would be like, "My legs hurt. I hate nature." And now, now they'll charge ahead on a trail. My 3-year-old can do, class 5, 2 kilometer treks. But the kids are
Wow.
like, "Dad, there's someone. Give me a card," and they'll grab the bloody good tour business card,
Yeah.
and they'll say, "We're on a mission to save lives. You can be part of it too," right? And they'll give
Oh,
the
that's
card.
magic.
So they're now, the biggest champions of this cause, and they're so connected to it. In fact, there was a moment in the car just the other day, one of our long drives. My daughter just said out of the blue, "Dad, I can't wait till I'm an adult." And I said, "Yeah, why is that?" And she said, "Because then I can give blood." And I
Oh, that's
thought,
beautiful.
yeah, I thought that's so touching that it's sunk in.
Yeah, that's special because I
Mm.
will tell the listeners as well. We actually connected at my local Lifeblood center, and in walked you with your 3 beautiful children and your team, full of energy. And you were actually, and I told you this offline not long ago, but you were actually the first person out of my security blanket of friends and family who I told about the glitter effect. So you're actually the reason that I'm here today. So you're doing more than you realize. But yeah, just seeing what you were doing and that purpose that you're doing and trying to get more people on board to give blood, I think is, it's a huge undertaking. Because are you finding it, obviously, if are you finding that you're getting more and more people on board, or what's stopping people getting on board if they're not, or what's making people do more if they've already started?
Yeah, so it's definitely growing, but much slower than what I would have thought. In fact, this has been incredibly harder. My sort of initial theory coming into this was there's no one that will tell you that blood donation's a bad idea.
Yep.
Okay, nobody thinks it's bad, but people just don't think about it. So if I do something big enough and bold enough, we can start conversations and prompt people and trigger that, saying, "Yeah, blood donation is a good idea. I'll board." But that hasn't really been the response.
Yeah.
Um, the two biggest deterrents that I've found from people donating, once they're eligible, given that they're an
Yep.
eligible donor, is that they're too busy,
Yep.
or they're scared of needles.
Mm.
And to those, I mean, for those of us that are too busy, a whole blood donation, it's the needle's in your arm for 7 minutes, right?
Yep.
You're in and out in about half an hour. So, and you can do that 4 times a year. So in 2 hours a year, with each donation saving 3 lives, you can save 12 lives.
Yeah.
Right? That's 6 lives an hour. Who is too busy for 6 lives an hour? And
Mm.
would you be too busy if that was one of your loved ones? Because with 1 in 3 Aussies needing blood at some point in their life, it's probably going to be someone you know at some point.
Mm.
Uh,
Absolutely. And I think it's funny because I've recently coming from the UK, as you can tell from my accent, I wasn't able to give blood for a long time, and I could not get there quick enough when they let that gate down to say you can. And then because I hadn't given blood, I didn't realize you could then do plasma and you could do all sorts of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fully jumping on board now. But it's that education, isn't it? And you say it's, people are too busy. And I think that's an easy way for a lot of people to say they don't want to,
Mm.
or for whatever reason. But you're a busy man. How many
A little
donations are
bit.
you up to now?
Well, I'm donating in Darwin on Monday. I think that'll be 268.
Good grief. That's incredible. I have such
Yeah.
a long way to go before I even get close to you. But so so many of our listeners are really passionate about community work. But obviously, as we're touching on, they struggle with time and resources, as you're saying here. How do you balance your personal life with your current mission, because being a dad of three and you're also running a business and you've got a ridiculously amazing cause, that's a lot of balls to keep in the air. How do you do it?
Yeah, there's a lot of balls in the air. I think it's more so a different. It's not about how do you balance it. It's how do you align them,
Yep.
right? If you can make your personal life your mission and your mission life, then you're not having to change between the two and balance them up. You just live it.
Yep.
And so that exercise that I went through on what are all the parts of me that I love and all the things that energize me. If I
Mm.
can build my life around that and connect that to a cause, I have energy through the day. I mean, otherwise, three kids in a caravan and 6 hour drives every other day, this
Yeah.
would be exhausting, right?
Yeah.
Media workshops, podcasts. But I get filled with energy at every step of the way because all of this connects with who I am,
Yep.
what my purpose is, and how I want to contribute. So I would say, yeah, less about trying to balance and more about finding that alignment.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And have there been any particular moments or stories that, or a moment that has actually reaffirmed why this is so important to you?
Yeah, there's been lots. I remember the first one actually, and most of these are the ones that like they hit you,
Yeah.
At the 1 month milestone on tour, we're at Townsville and reviewing the stats for how we'd performed. And bear in mind, by this stage, I'd dedicated 6 months of my life to this project,
Mm.
invested tens of thousands of dollars of my personal savings, dragged the kids in a caravan around, and thanks to some support from Lifeblood, had dozens of media appearances already. And by this time, only had 21 new bloody good humans donating blood. And by that time, I would have had, through media, connected with thousands, personally spoken to 500 people,
Yep.
one-on-ones or through the workshops I've done. And I got only 21 people. And that really hit me. And that gave me a moment to say, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Mm.
But, our team collectively saved 150 lives through blood donation in August. And for those 150 people and their families and their friends, what we've done has meant the absolute world to them.
Mm.
And they now have a chance to go on and contribute back to society.
Yeah.
And so reframing it like that as to not how little we've done, but the impact that we've done. And would I still do all of this to save 150 lives? Bloody oath.
Yeah.
Bloody oath I would. So that was the first moment that was really tough that then pushed me on. But then meeting recipients like young Addison with aplastic anemia, and Cheryl that's on immunoglobulin for her cancer treatment.
Mm.
These bring a tear to your eye. They're able to have a full life or meet their grandchildren
Yep.
because of blood donors like yourself as well.
100%. Yep.
And that's incredible. That is so powerful. From this small act of blood donation, we've been able to give them a whole life,
Yeah.
and their families and friends and communities are all better for it. That's
Yeah.
powerful. And that hits you right here in the heart and gives you a lot of energy.
Yeah, it does. And that's everyone, as you say, has got their story, their reasons. You are trying, you've got a goal in mind, haven't you, for the Bloody Good Tour, and you're coming to a big crescendo at the end. What can you share with us what that is?
Yeah, so the movement is to save 100,000 lives. If you break that down, that's 33,333 donations.
Mm.
The current average lifeblood donor does 3 donations a year, although I'm looking to engage more awesome Aussies like yourself for plasma donations, like you
Yep.
already do,
Yep.
where you can actually do 26 plasma donations a year.
Mm.
And so we're looking to build an army of these bloody good humans that prioritize small acts like blood donation that have massive impacts. We've currently saved about 6,000 lives, so we've still got
Mm-hmm.
a way to go to hit the 100,000. But the big milestone that's coming up is the end of the 12 months of caravanning. And that's 31st of July, which is now known as Bloody Good Human Day. And
Love it.
we're trying to break a national record there for most blood donations on a single day by a lifeblood team, the Bloody Good Humans, of course.
Yep.
So this is something where almost any Aussie can be a part of and actually break and hold a record.
Mm.
And I've been trying to break some records myself lately, like, the 100-meter sprint, how much
Yes.
peanut butter you can eat in a minute, just, the easy stuff. It is hard. It is, it is so hard. I'm not going to be able to do that. But this record, this is one we can do together. And this one actually means something. This one means something pretty special.
That's good. I like it. And I've been trying to work my next blood donation in so I can do it on the 31st of July.
Love it.
So yeah, watch this space. But you've over the months, it's, you're always on, presumably. I know you have downtime with your family and everything, but you're constantly thinking ahead. So, it can be very exhausting to a degree, but obviously gratifying at the same time. You've rallied an incredible network of supporters across the parts of Australia you've touched already. How easy has that been? And have there been any challenges? And how have you overcome those?
Yeah, there has been so much support, but so many challenges as well.
Mm,
I mean, a cause like this is one that a lot of people want to connect to, but sometimes, logistically or financially, it's quite tough.
mm,
It has taken a lot of resilience, and for me as well, it's taken an element of shedding the ego. And I don't mean this from a negative connotation, like egotistical. It's just removing the element of myself, right? It's not being about me. And so because it's so important to drive the mission,
mm.
I will go and talk to anyone or ask anyone for help because I
Yeah.
believe it's so important. And if it's not right for someone at that time, I'm not feeling disappointed or upset or agitated by it, by removing myself from it, removing
Mm.
that sense of ego. And so that's really been helpful to just focus on the mission objectives and
Yep.
and sharing that out. And the other element is finding win-win scenarios. I
Mm.
try to have a philosophy in life to make sure that every relationship is seen as all the interactions in a relationship are seen as good by both parties.
Mm.
And when you can build those win-win relationships, then it's almost impossible for someone to say no to.
Mm. In this instance, like you say, it could touch anyone, couldn't it? At any point in your life, someone you love or will need blood or could need blood. So it's
Yeah,
almost like, I mean, you're preaching to the converted with me, but
yeah,
obviously we've got a personal reason for that too now. But equally, I'm seeing now every night. I'm based in Melbourne. Every night there's the Lifeblood update on what they need as far as what's the store is for each of the blood types.
yeah.
That's a new thing. So something's obviously going to give because we're obviously at critical point now. And you go, well, we can't get any more critical than this because what would happen if if we do run out? I mean, we don't want to get to that point.
No, so we seem to go from crisis to crisis. So look, already Australia are importing almost half of our blood products from overseas.
Mm,
These are largely products derived from plasma.
yep.
Um, and what you're seeing is the red store levels, which we're self-sufficient on from red store levels. But you'll see there's a sneeze in the weather, right? We've got the hurricane in Queensland that shuts down 22 donor centres.
Yep.
We're in the middle of winter, cold and flu season, regular donors get sick and can't donate. Then there's a crisis. So we just hop from crisis to crisis, and we keep appealing. And Australians are really good at rolling up when those appeals come out, right?
Yep.
We get the donors in, but then they get back to their busy life
Yeah.
and forget about this. So then we roll on to another appeal and
Yeah.
another appeal. And yeah, for me, making this as part of your routine and habit, as I mentioned, this became part of my identity. And when
Mm.
I've had a crap day, as we all have crap days, I can actually just put on my blood donation hat and think, you know what? Like, as bad as today was, I'm a lifesaver. I
Yeah.
have made the biggest impact in someone else's life. And that makes me feel great.
Yeah. And it's a bit of an experience. I mean, you would have seen lots of different lifeblood centres, but my local one in particular, because I'm metropolitan Melbourne, I'm assuming it's a larger one.
Mm.
It's an experience too. I was amazed coming from the UK where you donate blood and you get a cup of tea and a little a little packet of
Pack of
biscuits in.
biscuits.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm sure that may have changed now. We're going back a long time since I last donated there. However, it's, when I explained to my friends recently the experience that you have after, before and after, with the snacks and just sitting there and talking to people, it's actually a really sociable experience. It's not just a case of go in, give blood, walk out. I actually
Yeah.
really enjoy it because I feel like I've spoken to lots of different people, and I mean, I
Mm.
like talking to people, but it's not for everyone. But it's not clinical in that sense. And I think that's what puts people off. You walk in, it's like walking into a cafe with just
Yeah.
where you give blood. There's stuff going on in the back. I'm
Yeah.
amazed at.
I love that you say that. I actually call it the happiest clinical environment on earth, kind of like a bit of a Disneyland mixed with the
Yeah.
clinical services. And you've got only 2% of Aussies donate, or 3% of eligible adults, right? So you
Mm,
have the top slice of generous Aussies in there.
yeah.
That's a cauldron of good people.
Yeah.
I haven't met, through 75 donor centers, I haven't met a happy staff member. So they love being there, being a part of the cause, and interacting with these generous Aussies. It's such
Yeah.
a happy place.
Yeah.
I encourage people, you know what, like don't go to the local cafe or pub for your next catch up. Let Lifeblood buy you lunch,
Yeah.
and come in and save some lives. And you know what, if you don't have friends, or even a romantic partner, go meet one at Lifeblood,
Yeah.
right? They're a generous person. They've been pre-screened for health and lifestyle questions. So go find yourself a bloody good human at a donor center to make a new friend, or even a romantic partner from.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. There's a little splinter thing you could
Yeah.
do after this.
Singles nights.
Single speed
Yeah.
dating at the blood donor center. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good. And look at it. I think we did that when I could donate. It was a big thing, and I knew the date was looming. And there were a few of my friends. We all got together, and we created a group, and it was called the bloody party or something. It was let's have a bloody party. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great, and we loved it. And we had, we all went out and afterwards and had a bite to eat. It celebrated that we could all do it together. So it's good. There's lots of reasons to do it. Now, going back to you, obviously, many grassroots organizations and projects, they actually struggle with sustainability and future proofing their projects that,
Mm.
at the time are filled with nothing but good. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, often fizzle out. What do you think is the long-term solution for keeping something like the Bloody Good Tour alive beyond
Yes.
your um, your record attempt?
Yeah. So look, firstly, I'd say Lifeblood, I think, do a fantastic job at keeping current donors happy and engaged. Right. They're such great donor engagement, and they're doing really well in promoting it for new people. I guess I can speak to different people in different languages.
Yeah.
So once the tour finishes, when the caravan parks on the 31st of July, this isn't the end. It's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
This is just a critical milestone with this record-breaking day. But after this, now we have, as we said, an army of bloody good humans that
Mm,
continue to do good deeds for their community and for themselves. So I will forever be an advocate of this. And through this journey I've had of building all the best parts of me and everything that I've learned on this, I'm going to continue to be, I guess, a champion to connect people with their purpose, their well-being, and that sense of joy. Right?
mm.
You've got to have fun and adventure on the way.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And so you've said what's next for the Bloody Good Tour. Is this something that you will just chip away at now moving forward, do you think? Or is
Yeah,
it?
well, we still want to save 100,000 lives. That's the next milestone of the movement,
Yeah.
and I think we should be able to get there in 12 to 24 months
Mm,
after this first year as we continue to grow.
yeah.
So I will continue to advocate and promote for that. I do need to start generating a good source of income again after being traveling for a full year on this self-funded mission.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be doing that in an aligned way. Like we said, to make your mission your personal life as well.
Yeah.
So I will continue to run well-being workshops and workshops on high performance. I will continue to coach individuals to connect with their purpose and go chase their highest values. And so like all of this is just so exciting for me.
It's great. I love everything that you're doing with this. I love what it stands for. I love your passion. I love everything that you're doing with it. And one thing I also love, I did a lot of looking on your website and everything after we met. And on your website, you quote the Tanzanian proverb, "Little by little, a little becomes a lot,"
Mm.
which I love. That to me is the glitter effect in its entirety. What are your top tips for anyone wanting to make a difference in their community? And it doesn't necessarily need to be blood donation related. How do you think people can make a difference today?
Yeah, well, look, the first one, of course, is blood donation, right? Be a bloody good human. Donate blood with us.
Yeah.
The otherwise, I think it's whatever cause that you're interested in is show up, get started, right? Get started contributing, and then it's important to normalize that, right? And what I mean by that is tell people about what you do, share your story, and that doesn't have to come from a boasting or an egoic point. You just share what you do, because what's really important is to say and to show people that people like us do good deeds like this.
Mm,
Okay, so when you post your blood donation online or the community work that you're doing, other people that resonate with you to say, yeah, look, Kate's like me. I get Kate, and
mm,
she does blood donation, or she helps at the local shelter. That's something I should do. So
mm,
normalizing it by sharing that is really important. And I guess lastly, just keep showing up.
mm.
Just keep doing it. Keep doing what matters.
Yeah, that's really important. And it's just fulfilling. And we always say this on the glitter effect, everybody gives back or does their part for their own reason, and that's personal. But you have to have that purpose and fill your heart for your purpose, not for anyone
Mm.
else's as well. And sometimes that gets a bit diluted, I think. So it's always good when you do have a purpose and people are clear on that. We often, as well, talk about with the guests that come on here. I refer to people as glitter kings and queens. So you're now officially part of glitter royalty. You'll be pleased to know.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'll doff my hat to you. And so, but has there been any glitter kings or queens that have inspired you along your journey to get you to where you are today? And that could be anyone from childhood all the way through to now.
Yeah, look, I mean, both my parents were blood donors, but I've also taken inspiration from my youngest brother. He
Mm.
did all the homework to work out how he could make the most benefit from his 80,000 hours in life. He's now an AI safety researcher, so
Okay.
he's doing work to save us all from Skynet.
Yep.
Um, but that's great work. So I've actually taken inspiration from him. My coach has been instrumental in helping me to rebuild my life in alignment with my mission and my purpose.
Yep.
But yeah, there are so many people out there, and they don't have to be big published authors. They can be a friend, a brother. In fact, I reckon you can take inspiration from every single people in your network.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. That's very good advice. And now, if any of our listeners want to find out more about the Bloody Good Tour or get involved, how can they do that?
Yeah, they should check out my link tree. So linktr.ee/Simmo Braun, SIMMO BRAUN. That'll give you the link to the Bloody Good Tour website, all our socials for that, and it also lets you connect with me for well-being, parenting, or purpose coaching.
Excellent. And it's not too late for people to join now, to join for your big record-breaking attempt.
No. So look, never too late to start donating blood, but also, yeah, to get in for the record attempt, it's 31st of July. Just book your donation in with Lifeblood and be sure to join the Lifeblood team, Bloody Good Humans. And then you too can hold a record with us. How amazing to actually hold a record with your friends and family for something that's so awesome.
I'm excited. I'm excited. What day of the week is the 31st of July? Just
It's
to have,
it's a it's a Thursday.
there you
And
go. That's
many
easy.
donor centres are open from 7 till 7, right? Depending
Yep.
on what your local one is. So before work, lunch break, after work, take a roster day. Some companies will give you volunteering or blood leave.
Yeah, I think, and there
Yeah,
really, as you say, there's very little excuse to not do it, right? It's
yeah.
yeah, once you've done it, you can be happy you've done it. Simmo, Thank you so, so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join me on the Glitter Effect. Your passion, your heart, and your mission with the Bloody Good Tour is nothing short of inspiring. I'm inspired every time I speak to you. You've reminded us all of how powerful it is to show up, to connect, and keep community at the core of absolutely everything we do. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your spark, your energy, and for spreading your own kind of glitter across the whole of Australia, one gig, one chat, and one town at a time. You truly are a bloody good legend, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have had your story shared with us today. We need a lot more of you in the world, so keep spreading your glitter. You're amazing, and we look forward to following you on the tour, and we wish you all the best with the rest of what comes next.
So good. Thanks, Kate. I'll keep spreading my glitter and my blood.
Amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. Take care. We'll certainly keep in touch. Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers. Bye.
See ya. Thank you for joining me, Kate Ganneil, on The Glitter Effect. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep showing up, making an impact, and sprinkling that glitter wherever you go. Bye for now.